Welcome to For Your Success with Katie Hornor, an inspiring program about overcoming the I'm too small mindset, redefining success, and growing your lifestyle business legacy without fear.
Just imagine what it would feel like. You tell your friend about your course, and she tells a friend, and the next thing you know, you're invited to meet with some of New York's top TV producers. And not only that, but 200 people have shared your last blog post with their audience. And then you get asked to speak at the biggest event in your industry. Thousands of people connect with your story, and all of a sudden your email list explodes with new people. People buy your book, it becomes a bestseller. People want to join your next program. You're working less hours. You've got more energy for family and clients. You're enjoying your life more, have more to give. And then one day you get an email from a former student who says, I took your course. I put into practice what you taught me. And as a result, tens of thousands of my clients' lives have been changed. Whenever someone comes to your website, it's immediately obvious to them that you are the go-to expert, the real deal. They can see your course and all the places you've spoken and been featured. And it's clear that you are making your mark on the world, but the impact is your biggest reward. The big opportunities that once seemed so out of reach and limited to only the best well-known and most established persons in your industry are now open to you. The TED Talk, the partnerships, the sponsorships, the book deals, these are all real life scenarios of my students and clients. And what's standing between you and all of these incredible things happening to you? That's what I want to talk to you about in today's episode. So if you're just finding our podcast, I'm Katie Hornor, founder of Handprint Legacy, bloggingsuccessfully.com, and the Successful Online Courses program. And I want to welcome you to the third episode in our podcast series on how to become the go-to expert and multiply your impact and the lives you touch with your genius. If you're just joining us for this episode, you'll want to go and catch the last two episodes and then come back to this one, because in the previous two episodes, you're going to hear how to get clear on what you want to be known for, whether you're just starting out or whether you've been at this a while. And I also help you crack the authority code with 3 insider marketing secrets. There's a couple of free gifts that you'll want to get, so be sure and go back and listen to those last 2 episodes and then come back and join us here. Okay, so now we're going to talk about how to move you forward from here. My goal is to show you how you can use your online course to achieve your biggest dreams and make that world-changing impact that you want to make using my Successful Online Courses action plan. So before we jump in though, I want to warn you about something today. This is going to be a lot of material. We're going to cover a lot in today's episode. So I don't want you to get intimidated or feel overwhelmed, okay? Said overwhelm Olga packing. This process is about building on your foundation, and we're starting by taking small steps towards your big goals. We don't have to do it all right now. I just want to be able to cover everything today so that you can start thinking about that path that makes the most sense for you. And all of that begins with these 7 action steps that I'm going to be sharing today. So as we go over each of these steps, I'll go through the information, and then I'm going to show you how it all comes together using case studies from some of my students. So step 1 is to define your big dreams. Now, before you take your first step, you have to know which direction you're headed, right? Being intentional about your goals, saying them out loud, writing them down, all of this has been shown to help increase your chances of actually achieving them by 42%. 42% more chance of it happening just when you are intentional, when you say it out loud, when you write it down. And that's what I love about our Blogwell Planner too. If you haven't seen the Blogwell Planner, check that out at blogwellplanner.com. But the Blogwell Planner has a space every day for you to write down what's the most important goal for me to achieve today. There's a space for goals for the month and goals for the quarter. There's a space at the end of every week to review those goals and see how you did and make new goals for the next week. It's so important to define those big dreams and break it down into those step-by-step goals. So maybe you have some of these big dreams. Maybe you want to speak to thousands of people in your courses in your membership program. Maybe you want to work with really high-end clients who are thought leaders or influencers in your industry or in their industries. Maybe you want to run retreats like our Blogwell retreats from tropical locations all around the world. Or maybe you just want to get a regular stream of income, a regular stream of students so that you can free up your one-to-one client time and don't ever have to worry about not having enough money from one-to-one clients because you're making it up with your online courses. So whatever your dreams are, I want to help you make them real, because despite what you might have heard, not every how to create a course program out there is going to help you reach those big dream goals. So that brings us to step number 2, which is, surprise, surprise, develop your email list. You've heard me say this before. A lot of prospective students who are interested in the topic you want to teach, that's who you need to build your email list with. If you want to build your email list, there's a couple of good ways to do that. Guest post is one way. If you're looking to sell a low price product, a paperback book, people's get on other people's email lists, magazines, if you can get a TV appearance, anything like that is a great way to get people into your low-priced introductory course, or to get them on your list, or to offer them some sort of freebie so that they gain exposure. You gain exposure. They gain exposure to you, that you can grow your list, and they get to see immediately whether or not you have something that's going to help them reach their dreams, right? So remember when we talked about your why a couple episodes back, and who you want to help? To know which list building efforts to pursue, you're going to have to start with that target audience. What kinds of things do the people you want to reach read, watch, listen to? Where are they hanging out online? Who are they following? When you're featured on those media or those blogs or in those newsletters, those social media feeds, you're getting directly in front of those exact people that you want to reach. You're getting in front of the people who are going to connect with your message. They're going to want to join your email list. They're going to want the resources that you provide. They're going to want to share your blog posts with other people. They're going to want to join your course and your programs. So once you have your list of places of people who can help you reach the people who need your help, then you need to develop an angle for presenting your course to those people who can present you to their people. I hope that makes sense. We talked about this in the last episode when I showed you how to adapt your expert topics to timely news or to seasons. There's lots of ways that you can present your course, but where you can make it fit better with whatever is most present in your audience's mind, then you're going to have better results in terms of getting in front of them and getting them to opt in to the thing that you're offering. All right, step number 3. One of the things that we didn't have time to cover in the previous 2 episodes is the different ways to create your course content to help your students be successful regardless of their learning styles. So this is referring to the types of content or the action steps, the feedback, and the touch points that you are providing inside your course. And I go into this in depth in the Successful Online Courses program, which is so much more than I can cover today. It's like there's a whole module on the course creation aspect and another one on the moving your people through and the how to keep them engaged with the content and keep them getting those wins. It's so much more than we can cover. So on step 4, which is to finish your course, when you finish the course, first I want you to take a minute and congratulate yourself, because you've taken action. You put the work in, you created your course, you're already ahead of the curve. Most people don't even get this far. I can't tell you the exact stats, but there are thousands and thousands of people who start out to create a course and never get it done. So what do you do when you're ready to open your cart for your course? The first thing is obviously email your list. Let them know what's available and then promote it everywhere you can think of. In the Blog Connection, we have a saying that you need to be second grade proud, right? Like a little second grader who comes home from school and shows mommy and daddy and grandma and grandpa and the neighbors and his friends and everybody this artwork that he made that's so amazing, and then it goes on the refrigerator for the next 6 months. Second grade proud of your work. You need to be posting that course everywhere. Your social media, your groups, local gatherings. If you've done a guest post somewhere, get in touch with the host of that blog and let them know that your course is open now. Ask them if they'll share that guest post again and let people know that your course is open in addition to sharing. If you've done a podcast, same thing. If you've been a guest on somebody else's show, let that host know that this is out there and ask them to share it for you. And that brings us to step number 5, which is prepare so you can over-deliver. And this is referring to how you make your students feel when they sign up and as they're progressing through your course. This is a critical step. I don't want you to skip over this over-delivery part because there are people whose students never make it past the first module. It's sad, I know, but 70%, 80%, sometimes even 90% completion rates are extremely rare in the online courses world. The difference is that the more successful course creator really prepares to serve their people at every step in the process. They're dedicated not just to enrolling them in the course, but they're dedicated to getting their people through all the way to the transformation. So let's talk about how to prepare for your course launch. Now, it differs depending on the type of media or promotion that you're planning on doing, but let's just say you're going to go be a guest on a podcast. In order to prepare, one of the things that you want to do is to practice your answers to the most common interview questions, because there's certain popular questions podcasters usually ask again and again. If you've listened to interview type podcasts, you're probably familiar with them already. And with a little bit of preparation, you can have answers to those already in your head or on a paper in front of you so you don't blank out, and ensure that your message is getting across in the most compelling way. Another thing that I do when launching is to go through the testimonials that I have from my previous students or other people who've worked with me and organize them according to the objections that I see come up most often. And this is a trick that I learned from Stu McLaren of the Tribe membership course. So for instance, one of the objections that always comes up is, well, yes, but I don't feel qualified to teach this. Okay, well, one of my students, Jennifer, doesn't have a degree in education, but she's got 20 years of parenting and homeschool experience to glean from in teaching other people and in creating her courses at thoushallnotwhine.com, serving homeschool moms out of her experience. And then I have Danielle from danielletate.org. She doesn't have a professional financial certification, but she's got 10 plus years of experience coaching other moms to successfully handle their family finances and support their family's financial goals. So you can create your own group of examples to answer the objections that you know are going to come up about your course when you're presenting it to people or when you're sharing it with others in that kind of interview situation. And so you've created your course, you're ready to over-deliver, you've done the prep work for launching, and now you're getting that promotion out there. The next step is to go live, to have fun, to not worry if it's not perfect. Know that every time you do this, you're going to get better. Every time you launch your course, you're going to launch it better. You're going to teach it better. You'll be able to love on your people better. Because with every time you do this, you're learning and improving. So instead of asking yourself what went wrong with this launch, ask yourself what went right. How could I do this better next time? And be sure to celebrate those successes. Whether you're celebrating over dinner, whether you're booking a pedicure, whether you're sharing your success with the people who are going to cheer you on. We do that all the time in our business. Everybody needs people in their lives who cheer them on. So be sure that you're celebrating those successes all throughout the process. All right, so now that you've got students, is that it? Well, absolutely not. Step 7 is to leverage those student successes. One of the biggest mistakes that I see people make once they get students into their courses is that they then sort of feel like it's over. They feel like their work is done, but it's not done. Like, you've just started. It doesn't work that way. You've got to get in there and make sure your students get those wins. You got to leverage their wins in a strategic way so that it elevates your brand and helps you reach more of your goals and their goals. For example, updating your website with their testimonials, making an announcement to your email subscribers about your students' successes, sharing about your students' wins on social media, sharing those testimonials. When your audience sees that you are regularly featuring the successes of those people who have learned from you, it's going to be clear to them that you are going places. It's just the nudge that they need, perhaps, to enroll in your course or to reach out to work with you. It really helps your future marketing efforts. It means that you're able to grow your business faster and impact more people, ultimately, because of that organic promotion from happy students getting transformations and sharing that with other people. So now let's look at how all of these 7 steps work together. Let's use examples from some of my successful online courses students. Brenda helps people downsize their belongings so that they can live larger lives with less. One of her goals was to increase her income. So first, she created her Downsizing 31 course. And then, since she wanted to get more people into her online program, she decided to apply for some interviews with some of New York's top producers through a contact with a friend of hers. One of those producers was the Rachel Ray Show. And the producer there told her that he thought her story and her expertise should also be made into a book. And so next, Brenda developed her story idea into a book, which became almost an overnight bestseller on Amazon when she launched it. And then she was featured in the Tiny House magazine, which led to a regular column in that magazine. And this year, she's spoken on 22 Tiny House stages, several of them the largest conventions in the U.S. tiny house industry. And then there's Jennifer from my mastermind program, who decided to offer a free email opt-in to one of her friends' email lists. So her friend is mailing her own list about Jennifer's opt-in. She doubled her email list size, okay? Doubled it. And now she's able to share with all of those new people about her Beyond the Stick Figure art curriculum and courses. And those subscribers turn into new customers. My friend Anna is somebody else who had an opportunity like this. She was invited to guest on a business summit talking about podcasting. And because of that interview, she was then asked to speak in real life on a stage to a room of over 1,000 people at a huge industry event. She was able to invite those people to opt into her list and to her podcast guest formula program, teaching them how to grow their audience by being a guest on podcasts. So these wins are just examples of how these 7 action steps work, how they apply each time you launch your course. You repeat these same processes, constantly improving them, improving your conversions every time you do it. And now, I know that we've just sort of touched the surface of a lot of these steps. It's so much information to be able to cover it in a podcast episode, but I'll share an example about the different ways to present your course to different audiences. I'm talking about how your email or your social media post needs to change for the different types of people that you want to attract to your course. For instance, let's say you're going to teach a course on cake decorating, okay? The way you present it to someone who has a bakery business is going to be different from the way you present it to a person who wants to learn cake decorating as a hobby. Make sense? The techniques that you're teaching, the actual like creating flowers and doing leaves and borders and all of that may be the same information. It's the same course. But the people that you're attracting are seeking different transformations. They're coming to this course with different goals. The bakery owner may just want to be known for beautiful cakes. She may want to be sure that her cakes are going to sell. A hobby cake decorator may just enjoy making something beautiful. They're doing it for the fun aspect or the relaxation side of things. Both of them are going to take the same course, but the way that you present it to them makes a difference in how they decide to opt in. They're going to both be learning together, but the marketing needs to be customized to their desired outcome in order for them to understand that that's the course they need. And we cover all of this in way more depth in the Successful Online Courses program. But once you've used the action plan to create your course and to plan your launch and to help your people get to that desired transformation, that's when these opportunities that we talked about at the beginning of today's show are so within your reach. The book deals, the speaking engagements, the partnerships, the sponsorships. It's no longer this big crazy dream that's just for other people or out of your reach. It then becomes the logical next step for you. All right, so I know we covered a lot of information today, and what I want to do now is answer some of the questions that you may have. You might be thinking at this point, well, I just work with people one-on-one. I already have enough clients. Why do I need a course? Well, following the Successful Online Courses action plan is going to help you scale back that one-to-one client time without scaling back your income. You only have so many hours in a day you can serve clients one-to-one, right? But with your premium online course, you're going to be able to leverage your time better. Courses will help you build your brand too, to get you where you want to go for the future. It's going to create an asset for your business that can outlive you. I love that about courses. I mean, if something happened to you tomorrow, and I'm not desiring that at all, please don't misunderstand, but think about the future of your business. If something happened to you tomorrow, who's going to teach what you teach? How is your business going to survive? If you've got a premium online course, your business can continue to sell your expertise beyond your lifetime. It can continue to provide for your family, continue to spread your message, continue to make an impact on other people into the future, even if you were not here and physically able to do it yourself. So, for instance, this process has helped one of my students, Suzanne, trade her long hours of private health coaching for more free time and even more impact than she had before. And that brings us to the second question I get asked a lot, which is this going to take a lot of time? Maybe you're really busy right now and you're not sure if you'd be able to keep up with everything and still get a course created. Well, the truth is it does take some time to plan out your quality course curriculum and develop your rubric that's going to help your students get those results. You've got to plan your launch and send your emails and do promotions. It's not an easy peasy overnight thing. It does take some work. But a premium online course is one of the most valuable assets you can have in your business. Why? Because it's all about packaging that genius, making sure that the more people know about you and learn to do what you teach them, all while building a valuable brand in the marketplace, it's going to help you. The time that you invest now to create your premium online course is going to pay off so many times over, making other activities like your higher end private clients, your speaking gigs, or getting a book deal a whole lot easier. And remember that you're going to leverage your course to get the most out of each piece of publicity that the promotion and the testimonials provide. You don't need 10 different courses. With the Successful Online Courses method, you could get equally good results and impact with just as many people and life-giving transformation with just one outstanding course. You can promote it over and 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 get more subscribers and more students and more clients. The more money, the more impact, and putting less time into your business overall. So keep in mind that with courses, your impact is generational, like I said before. What may seem like a small group of students one time around can turn into something incredibly huge. For instance, my friend Pete has a course on becoming a speaker, and I went through it one of the first times that they offered it. There was about 60 people in it that first time around. Well, the next time he offered it, he had close to 2,000 people in that course. And it's just kept mushrooming from there every time he opens registration. He's teaching those students to share their genius from the stage to change lives. And who knows the generational ripple effect of the people whose lives those speakers are going to touch and what they will go on to do. So this is not just about money. It's not just about business. It's also about impact and generational impact that's going to be able to continue to impact people into the future. Okay, so another question that you may have is, why would anybody listen to me? Am I ready for this? Maybe you feel like you need the perfect website, or you need to be further along, or you need to have more experience. Maybe you're telling yourself, but I'm not a great writer, or I don't feel ready to be on camera, or who do I think I am saying I can do this? We call that the imposter Irene syndrome. The one that tells you, what do I think I'm doing? Other people know so much more about me, or there's so many other people teaching this. What I want you to know is that I have helped people at all stages of business go through the same action plan that I've shared with you today. I've had people who are just getting started, with no website, no tech experience, still holding down a day job. But I've also had people who were experienced and successful business people who realized that they'd been pushing off their dream of getting their message out there in a bigger way. Entrepreneurs who had already created courses, but then didn't realize that they didn't know how to really leverage their courses to get folks through to the transformation and market them well to grow their business. So here's an example of someone who didn't feel like their topic was impactful enough. Julie is one of my students from Successful Online Courses, and she said this. She said, "This course was extremely thorough. The value that Katie provides through the coaching and the direct communication is invaluable. Along with the overall in-depth content, Katie's availability and support was amazing. She has had an incredible impact and allow me to see the impact that my course will have on other people. She's always one step ahead of us as students, providing answers and incredible resources. The course content and her helpfulness and contact availability were exceptional." And so Julie came into that feeling like her topic was good and she wanted to spread it, but she wasn't really convinced that it was important or impactful. And in the course, she was able to see what an amazing impact she could have. And so if you think perfectionism might be getting in the way of you creating a course, then I've got Wendy, another student, with some great advice for you. Wendy said, "Going through the modules that Katie created, I've been able to apply her tips and techniques immediately, and I've been able to see growth at every single step. I can't recommend her course highly enough." Another big question that I get about the whole course creation process is, what if I'm just not comfortable being in the spotlight? Maybe you have thoughts like, "Oh, I find it hard to brag about myself. It's just not my style." Or, "I just want to help people. It's not about getting attention from me." Or maybe you're saying, "I have a fear of rejection. This is completely terrifying." I get it. Because the older I get, the more introverted I feel. I'm so much happier helping somebody else get recognized. I am totally fine with hiding in the background and being the guide and letting my students be the heroes in their courses. But when I realize that if I want to help more people, I got to put myself out there. And you do too. If I stay small and comfortable, the thousands of people who need me would not be able to find me. I would just go on picking up 1 or 2 students at a time, but never making a huge impact that I feel called to make. And really, it comes down to the people you're meant to help, doesn't it? It's not really about you. It's about them. It's about helping them. And there are so many people out there who need your message, who need your voice, who need what you have to teach them. They just haven't found you yet. And they're not going to unless you put yourself out there in a bigger way. For instance, our Spanish business, lemonhouse.com, hosted the 2nd annual summit for Spanish-speaking homeschool families this year. It's a week of courses on homeschool topics online. We had over 5,000 families registered from more than 60 countries around the world this year. Many of these families were hearing about homeschooling or home education for the first time in their lives. I know as English speakers it's hard to imagine that, but in the Spanish world this is still a new thing. We got so many comments from those attendees who said things like, "Oh my goodness, I am so relieved to hear that I am not the only one, that I'm not alone. It was so amazing to find a community of other people who felt like this was important. You guys validated what I've been feeling all along. It was awesome to find out there's a better way to educate my child." Comments like that we just kept receiving over and over and over again. We had, I think we collected over 300 comments in total. But what if we'd never stepped up to say that we could do that? To let these families know that there is an option for their kids. What if they'd never heard that they could have a different way to educate, that they could have a personalized education for their kids? It's not about the publicity for the sake of your own ego. It's about getting your ideas and your information, your genius, out there to the people who need you. And courses are the #1 absolute best way to do that. So if you're like me, it just boils down to not wanting to spend the rest of my life with a ton of regret about the shots I didn't take. That fear of living with regrets definitely outweighs for me the fear of putting myself out there. And so if you're ready to create your premium online course, become a respected expert, impact more lives in the way that only you can, if you're ready, I've got good news for you today. We have a special on-demand training all set up for you. 5 strategies to transfer your genius and grow your influence and online income via premium courses, okay? In this complimentary training, you're going to learn more about how to stand out and get your course out to the people who need it, even if it feels like there are thousands of other people teaching on the same topic. You'll also have a chance to join our free group just for course creators, so you can find out you're not alone either and be able to communicate with others who are also creating courses to impact generations. So click the button in the show notes or go over to bloggingsuccessfully.com/CC webinar right now and join us for that free training. It's time to stop hanging out on the sidelines and watching other people shine. It's time for you to take back your time while still not compromising your income or your impact. It's your turn to stand out, to make a difference in the lives of more people than you have ever dreamed possible. And it's easier than you think. So thank you so much for joining me today, for joining us on this audio series right here on the For Your Success podcast. And after sharing the Successful Online Courses action plan with you, I would love to know, what was your biggest aha moment or takeaway from today's episode? If you could leave us a review or go to the show notes page and type in a comment, let us know. I am so looking forward to hearing what you gained from this training, and I can't wait to see you on the webinar. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the For Your Success podcast with Katie Hornor, presented by bloggingsuccessfully.com. For show notes and links to the resources mentioned in today's episode, visit www.foryoursuccesspodcast.com.